Well, every year Mary Elizabeth and I have gotten more organized. And now, now she is a tremendous help. I told her what we're going to do, and she was good enough to do the organizing to make the order. And then we had it delivered. Poor Walmart, the poor people. But we keep them in business, I think.
A lot of people wonder what it's like. There are 16 of us, 13 boys, 1 girl, 1 mom, 1 dad. One of the big questions I'll be asking today is what it looks like when you order all the supplies. People were really intrigued by the grocery hauls we've done. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. At the end, we're gonna tell you about, I don't know if it's gonna be a good development or not, but something new that's happening this year. A new pie, is that right? Just a little clue. Don't give the great surprise away.
Yeah.
So we'll tell you at the end. What is it like in our family celebrating Thanksgiving?
Well, for me, it's almost the best day of the year just because we go to so much trouble to have the table set and everybody's already got their forks, knives, and spoons, their drinks, everything. The food's already, everybody works together, and we all sit down at the same time. We all eat at the same time, and it ends up with great conversation. We are blessed with very good family on both sides. It's just a lot of fun. We get a chance to talk and do things that we don't normally do. We end up playing games afterwards, so it's a lot of fun.
What about you, Mary Elizabeth? Is that anything to add to that? Mary Elizabeth is ready to cook there with her wooden spoon, I guess you call that?
Yeah, for like stir fries or something.
Okay, yeah, of course. That's
of
what
course,
I usually,
That's
what I usually use it for.
Every time you do that,
I prefer like the imported wood.
Yeah,
it just gives more of a flavor, I think.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, what's your experience like with Thanksgiving? Anything to add to that?
I mean, it's always kind of like Mom said. It's always been one of the sweetest memories. The day before Thanksgiving, how we'll make the pies. Yeah. It's just all day. We have a certain Christmas album we always play, and it's always the beginning of Christmas season for us, at least. That's when we decorate. We decorate the day after Thanksgiving, and so it's just always really fun. And now, especially with the sisters, it's so funny to hear them refer to it as Pie Day now too. Yeah. Like, oh, what are we doing Pie Day, or what are we all doing? They're just blending right in.
Yeah.
So
we need more girls.
Yeah.
How has that changed? I mean, it's changed very quickly with the new sisters-in-law being involved. What has that been like? What was last year like compared to the years before? I mean, just a lot more, I guess, cooks in the kitchen, or what's it like?
Yeah. Well, I know at least it's been kind of cool. Each year's different. Like Paige and I we have the specific pie we make each year. We made the first year when they were dating, and then so it's really cool. So with her, we have our own tradition, but then the other sisters, like last year, they were helping cut up apples for the apple pie and making really fancy lettuce work on top, things that we don't usually have time for.
They took it to another level.
Yeah, like they can, since there are more girls to go around, it can be go to more trouble.
More fussy.
Yeah, more fussy.
Yeah.
It's good way to say it.
Yeah.
And Mom, also go ahead.
It's been fun in that way because already it was my one day that I get to decorate and make it like a formal Thanksgiving. With a bunch of boys, normally they don't really want you to set the table and go to all that fussiness. It's kind of silly to them. But on Thanksgiving, everybody likes that. And I like it because then I get to sit down and eat with everybody. I'm not getting up to get off of work and get a spoon and get someone some water. And, it's nice. We all sit down at the same time. With the all my daughter-in-laws, and when we just had a baby shower a couple days ago, and they, a couple of them came over and decorated, and the other ones were helping with the food, and it's just like I got to go to the fancier decorations. I got to take it up to another level, and I began to realize I'm a girl. For a while there, I thought I was a boy.
Sure. Yeah,
it's like, hey, this is kind of nice.
I know.
So it's been fun.
It's actually, from my perspective, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I just love it. Just the big feast and the fancy setup that you do. Yeah. All the memories of your parents back when we had Thanksgiving with them every year. And now I'm now Grandma and Grandpa Arndt, who are both 92 now. They join us every year. That's really special.
Oh, I know. And they're doing good in health. Having a little trouble with sight, but they're doing good. And they add a lot to the Thanksgiving.
So cool.
You mentioned the baby shower, and it actually was kind of tricky getting both of you. One of you is difficult enough. Getting both of you together, especially this time of year, is difficult.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I casually mentioned, or a few days ago, I casually mentioned to Mary Elizabeth, like, hey, as far as a filming day, why don't maybe we can just do it on the baby shower day, maybe, I mean, don't worry, I'm not insensitive. We'll do it half an hour before.
Yeah, it's never busy right before.
That is a busiest time because we want the food fresh.
Right.
We want everything, if we are making sandwiches, for them to be freshly toasted.
Yeah.
Whatever we're doing, for it to be truly fresh.
Or you're hosting, or you're scrambling, getting yourself dressed.
And
I was a mess at a half hour before the shower.
Well, of course.
It didn't look too good.
Yeah.
I remember that you had a sign, and you had a sign on the door saying "Nobody come in here." It was off limits.
Yeah, it was just for the servants.
Yeah, exactly.
It was messy. And
Yeah.
that part looked really pretty, and that's
Yeah.
where everybody was supposed to go. But
Yeah.
everybody was coming in the front door.
Yeah, the help was in here.
Yeah. So we had to put our slates on.
Yeah.
But then we all got put together, and the party went real good. And
Yeah.
then clean up, the girls were all helping. Is so weird. It's like, wow, I thought that's kind of what I did. I kind of cleaned up those 2 rooms and brought the food this way. And then Mary Elizabeth dealt with putting the food away. And it's like, the girls were doing that. And this one was doing that. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's neat.
what am I going to do? This is wonderful.
Yeah.
So I had to hold babies. It was awful.
I was going to comment on the setup that you do in the dining room. That's always so beautiful and just heartwarming. And you said that's one of your favorite parts. Can you just tell a little bit what you do for
Well, it
that?
sounds so silly because, you guys wouldn't mind if it was just paper plates. But I think it makes it feel more like a holiday if we use our tablecloths and we use napkins and set out all the utensils how you're supposed to. I look at the book of etiquette and kind of look at that page. I look it up online, of course, but where the forks and spoons are supposed to go as if I know. And get those all set up. The drink, the water all set up, and just make it look prepared so people can just come and take their plate, fill it up, and sit down and eat. And it's just, I think it makes everybody feel welcome. We set up candles. Each year we get a little sillier with it. And now we've got candles lit, and just trying to make it look more like a restaurant, making it just more welcoming. Because I think that's a lot of our jobs as women, is to make a house a home. And I'm always telling Mary Elizabeth, hey, let's get something that smells really good cooking. Have fresh bread going, or cinnamon rolls, or something that just permeates the place. Or like when we're making cookies, or we're making the pies, I can just tell, even though the guys are all over the house, and we've got a good sized house here, they're all kind of attracted by some fragrance. They all come to visit and to taste what we're doing too.
Yeah.
But I think it makes everybody feel like they've got a home to come to. And I think that's kind of our job.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing a pretty good job with it. It's fun anyway.
Yeah.
So with all this preparing, how does that work with getting all the groceries you need for cooking, like for the pie supplies and all the other foods? How do you do that?
Well, every year, Mary Elizabeth and I have gotten more organized. And now she is a tremendous help. I finally caught on about 4 years ago to start keeping a file on my computer for how many pies I make and what flavors, which ones they liked, which ones we had leftovers nobody really liked that much. And that's been a good cheat sheet for what to make the next year. And then she and I go over it, and we did that last night. What were the more favorite? We need to make more mud pies, more coconut cream, more cheesecake. And we kind of let go of a couple. Like our cherry pie, I thought was good, but at the same time, it's got tough competition. And so the cherry pie and the lemon meringue didn't make the cut to this time. But once we determine which ones we're going to make, the berry pies is real popular. Once we decide which ones we're making, how many we're doing, then we have to break down the ingredients. And we've done that each year. And finally it occurred to me, why don't we keep a note of that? And I told her what we're going to do, and she was good enough to do the organizing to make the order. And then we had it delivered. Poor Walmart and the poor people. But we keep them in business, I think. She figured out how many of this, that, and the other thing we need, because of course we need butter and a whole bunch of them, and we need lemon and a whole bunch of these, and just, what we need. And of course we're not going to use all these pounds, 25 pounds of flour and 25 pounds of sugar. And this is just how we buy it all the time. Then she placed the order, and it just came a little bit ago while I was out, and they put it all on top of the tablecloth that I just ironed, but it didn't hurt it. But it's looking good. And then tomorrow morning we'll get up nice and early, and I usually start with a no-bake cheesecake just to fill. No, usually I start with the pies, but the girls are cutting them. I may have to rearrange this, but this is the easiest one. That's satisfying. And then the coconut cream's the hardest, but I want to do that while my arms aren't tired. And so we'll just make our way through until we finish it all. It'll be fun. And then come Thanksgiving, different family members bring mashed potatoes and gravy and this and that. And we supply the desserts, and then we bake all the 60 pounds of turkey, but we don't pay for it. But we bake it because we've got lots of ovens and all.
We're almost wrapping up here, and then we'll tell you secret dessert that's going to be experimented with. How many pies would you say that are usually made every year? Do you have a rough number, or do you have any plans for this year?
I'd say we usually do around 40, 42, 45, right in there. And we send pies home with a lot of the relatives. We get special requests, and the mud pie is always way up there. The coconut cream is popular. And just yesterday, I had people remind me to make plenty of cheesecakes. So we'll have to do that too.
And we're going to, as promised, tell you about the experimental dessert that's being made this year. Mary Elizabeth, do you want to tell us about that?
Hey, I'm not responsible for it.
And this is, Mary Elizabeth wouldn't do this, but she has something that she knows about anyway.
Well, I heard yesterday that Nathan's planning to make a Baja Blast pie. So he said apparently they sell it at Taco Bell or something. Or I don't know, or they somehow he got it. But he said it might just be like a key lime pie, but he's going to replace some of it with Baja Blast. And that's kind of the drink of the Arndt boys. So
They like that Baja.
yeah, so it might be their dream come true or their biggest disaster. We'll see.
Okay, we'll find out.
Plenty of others.
Yeah.
Just in case. Now, Nathan is a good cook.
Yeah, he is.
He makes some really mean chicken and dumplings.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
This might break a streak, though. I don't
We'll have
know.
to see.
Yeah.
He's a good cook, and he's
he's
done
really
the
good.
meat's real good with
He's really good
smoking.
baking too.
I can't think of what he's messed up.
Yeah.
But this could be it.
He makes a really
Find
good
out.
carrot cake. And
Yeah,
stuff.
he does make the best carrot cake.
Yeah,
we've had.
very good at baking too.
Yeah, and smoking. He's really good at smoking meats.
Yeah, he's really
In
good.
fact, we'll have to talk about that for the turkeys.
Well, we have to let these two women get back to what they're doing. Mary Elizabeth is going to be babysitting, and Mom has a lot of preparation to do for Thanksgiving and other things. So thanks for being with us, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already.